That supplemental funding, we hope, is going to help our ag folks around the state. And I know that Lake City, as I have toured over here many times with the Farm Bureau, that's a big issue here, and we want to make sure our farmers are taken care of, and we appreciate what they do. Not to mention agriculture is the #1 economic driver in Florida, so right, we want to do that. One of the things I wanted to share with you is the fact that Senator Nelson has introduced some legislation concerning economic security, basically about jobs and the future of jobs here in Florida. Some sad statistics actually is that in 2015, 44% of households in Florida couldn't afford basic needs such as housing, child care, food, health care, and transportation. That's a 27% increase from 2007. Many of these households have income above the federal poverty level, but below the basic cost of living. And you know, we talk about this all the time, which is, you know, the working poor, and everyone's struggling. Some people have more than one job, and they're working, they're doing their thing, they're doing what they're supposed to do, but times are changing. So, long story short here is that there are things that the senator has been trying to do, and he's fighting to increase jobs and wages, but at the same time trying to reduce those costs for everyday Floridians. One of the things is that he led the charge to enact the Travel Promotion Act, which works to increase the amount of foreign travelers visiting Florida. Now, you all know as a chamber how important it is to have that economic driver. And fortunately, in my neck of the woods, we have lots of things that visitors like to come and visit and go to, right? We got springs, we've got all of our ecotourism going on, and I'm very proud that I cover North Central Florida because I love the environment here in Florida is so important, and we've got to take care of that, right? So that includes no drilling off the state of Florida. He's also fought for funding to help our seaports, our airports, our railways. Infrastructure is so important to business. And you here in Lake City know this, right? He's also been working on the railways, and there's funding to help with the Amtrak, we hope, that's going to be coming back through the state. And when I talk about this next one, y'all don't roll your eyes at me, okay? Don't throw anything at me. So one of the things is health care, right? We know that's a tough subject, right? Okay. Healthcare costs account for about 14% of the average family's monthly expenses in Florida. The state of Florida has repeatedly refused to expand Medicaid coverage. That's about 800,000 Floridians. That's leaving $66 billion on the table of your taxpayer dollars left. Unfortunately, that's also the backbone to some of our health care needs for our kids, our elderly, and they're not getting it. So hopefully, again, the senator will continue to push for the expansion of Medicaid and increase funding where it's needed. Anybody here nonprofits that have to deal with Medicaid? No? Okay. Y'all are quiet. At least y'all didn't throw anything at me, thank you. Okay. Housing, affordable housing is another issue here. Housing costs for about 19% of the average family's monthly expenses in Florida. Senator Nelson has fought to increase the supply of affordable housing options through increasing tax credits and greater funding for federal housing programs. Transportation costs account for about 15% of the average family's monthly expenses. How many here wish we actually had some kind of easy method to get besides 75 to get somewhere in Florida? Okay. Yesterday, I drove from West Palm Beach. We had meetings down there, and so I drove as quick as I could on the Turnpike and 75 to get home so I could get up early this morning and come see y'all on 75. So I feel like I run up and down, and I'm supporting somebody with all the tolls that I pay, but So he is fighting to increase funding for transportation infrastructure, including high-speed rail. Nelson also led the charge to create a $1 trillion blueprint for modernizing the nation's infrastructure. Infrastructure modernization would create jobs, reduce traffic, and help people save gas. And that is all about me. So there's many things that's going on, but one of the things that I hear is, what can we do to improve the jobs? You know, the representative pointed out the fact that we need vocational jobs. That's an awesome idea. We've got folks that still need that training in our education system here in Florida. We've got to support that funding to help our educators, both at the local level for up to high school through the vocational aspect of this. And those of you here who are educators know that a lot of federal funding supports our local schools. And Senator Nelson will continue to support that. Senator Nelson proposed the Economic Modernization Act, and it would make it easier for workers to change careers out of fields in decline due to automation or other trends, and gain the skills needed to obtain higher paying jobs in high demand by employers. The bill also encourages businesses to reinvest in abandoned commercial centers. Y'all have some of that here? Yeah. Nelson is pushing bipartisan legislation to encourage businesses to provide more apprenticeships and on-the-job training for workers. He's also pushing to make sure folks can afford to retire eventually by making it easier for workers to save for retirement and encouraging more employers to offer retirement plans in addition to protecting Social Security and Medicare. So there's a lot been going on in Washington. The spending package that I talked about was about $1.3 trillion, and a lot of that was included in that package. I just want to make sure that you all know I'm available if you have questions about grant funding. How can we help you obtain some of that funding? Some of the agencies, money that's coming down from the feds to the state. I'm here and available and would love to talk to that. And I just want to let you guys know that at some point we are working to try to get both the FTC and our folks from the Commerce Committee. As you may know, Senator Nelson is the ranking member of the Commerce Committee. And a lot of these issues are coming out of the Commerce Committee. Infrastructure dollars is going to go through Commerce. Some of those things that we're talking about, broadband, that's all going to happen through Commerce. And so I'm hoping over the next couple of months I'll be in touch with the chamber here to talk about possibly the secretary coming from the FTC, as well as our commerce folks. And of course, if we have a roundtable or something, some kind of discussion, so we can talk about that funding, we would love to have you all there. And like I said, I just want to say on behalf of the senator and myself, I've been with the senator almost 16 years now. And I love what I do. I love helping people. We have a casework office in Orlando that helps people with Social Security, Medicare, VA benefits, taxes, anything IRS related. And we average about 15,000 to 18,000 cases a year. That's a lot of Floridians that need help. And I'm very appreciative of the fact that I've been a part of that. And I just want to thank you all. I know I don't get up here as much, but believe you me, I'm keeping track of what's going on. And the good news is it's always good. I get to share some great news with the senator so that he knows. And it's always fun coming up here because you all are real. You're doing your thing. You just want quality of life. And hopefully you all will allow us to help be a part of that. And if I can help in any way, please let me know. So thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. We now have Matthew Dews from Senator Rubio's office.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Matthew Dews. I am Senator Rubio's staff assistant in the Jacksonville office. Me and my counterpart, you may know Ashley Cook. She couldn't make it this morning. We cover the 14 counties in Northeast Florida, St. Augustine over to Gainesville, out towards Cedar Key, Levy-Dixie County, up here to Lake City, and over to Nassau and down to Flagler. So it's a pretty good area for us. Like my counterpart at Senator Nelson's office said, if you guys ever need anything, grant funding, grant support, we do that on a daily basis, and we're always here to help. I have a few things. I asked DC for some legislative updates on what we're working on right now, probably today, this week, and the next few weeks, and going through summer. I'd like to start with, as you guys probably heard in the news this week, Majority Leader McConnell announced that they are canceling August recess, so we will be working through the end of summer. And this week, it may have already started, we're working on Water Resource Development Act and potentially a farm bill coming through the Senate. I also have a few things, a list of a few things that are on the Senator's, the big things the Senator wants to get done this summer. Like I said, the National Defense Authorization Act. We're working on appropriations, water infrastructure, that's big here in Florida, a farm bill, hopefully getting that through this week over to the House, opioids, trying to fight the opioid crisis here in Florida, some bills in regards to the FAA, flood insurance, which is huge coming up with hurricane season and after Irma and Matthew. Some Coast Guard funding issues, which again is huge for Florida with the coastline. And a little bit of a less serious note, daylight savings time bill. As you guys know, it passed the state Senate and House back, I think it was early March. So the Senator, Representative Nunez out of Miami introduced it in the House. Senator Rubio introduced it in the Senate. So in order for it to work for Florida, the federal government has to pass it. So he is a huge supporter of that, and we're working on the daylight savings time bill, not only for Florida, but if the nation wants to pass it across the country. There's a whole list of benefits. Like I said, it's kind of a less serious note, but the Senator is a big proponent of that. So that's about all I have for Senator Rubio. But like I said before, I'm in Lake City. I was just here last week, at least once or twice a month, and we're here all the time. So if there's anything I can ever do, or Ashley can do, or our office can ever do, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're always willing to help. So thank you for having us.
Thank you, Matthew. We now have Mr. Tony Hill from Congressman Lawson's office.
Good morning. Like counterparts Lisa and Matthew, Congressman Lawson could not be here. He's in Washington voting today, and hopefully tomorrow they'll be back here in the district. Our district goes from Columbia, should I say the area I'm representing is Columbia, Hamilton, Baker, and Duval. The congressman is headquarters out of Tallahassee, and this is the new congressional district that was redistricted some 18 months ago. Congressman Lawson, who had served as a state senator and a state rep for many, many years and represented rural areas up in what we call the Panhandle area of North Florida. He's on the Agriculture Committee, and he's also is a part of the Small Business Committee. And there are several bills that he has attempted to sponsor and to try to bring to the fore, being that Duval County is a big veterans area. We have been doing some in the area of Veterans Job Opportunity Act. We also have been looking at some small business opportunities here in this area, in this community. In fact, I want Mike to let us know if there's anyone interested. We're trying to bring the regional SBA director, which is out of Atlanta, to Columbia County to talk about rural development, microloans, and he wants to expand that opportunity here in North Florida. So again, we could be reached at 904-354-1652 as the office. We have been doing some constituent work up here in Columbia County on several occasions, and we look forward to whatever concerns you may have as it relates to veterans, Social Security, or any federal issue that we could help. We come up at least once a month and to address those issues, as well as over in Hamilton County. So again, thank you on behalf of the Congressman, and anytime you're in Washington, Mike, would love to. I know in Jacksonville we have what they call the chamber fly-in, but I don't know what the protocol is here, but he would look forward to visiting with you when you're in Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Tony. At this time, a good friend of mine, Will Kendrick, from Congressman Dunn's office.
Always a pleasure to welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Well, they broke my record. Senator Hill, Matthew, I just knew I was going to be the shortest one up here, but y'all messed me up, so I just got to make the best of it. Greetings from your Congressman, Congressman Neil Dunn. As you know, he's in Washington voting too, so where they should be. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Will Kendrick, and I'm the district director for Congressman Dunn. As most of you know, I had the pleasure of serving as state rep for a number of years, and know most of you, as did Senator Hill as well. We serve all or part of 19 counties. It starts here in Lake City, in Columbia County. It goes across to Washington, Holmes County, down to Panama City, and back around to Ocala, down and around Marion County. So it's quite a large district. I've been through almost half of them this morning already, so just getting here. So the Congressman serves on three pretty important committees for us in our district, important to you. That is Veterans Affairs Committee, Science, Space, and Technology Committee, as well as the Agricultural Committee, and just recently was appointed chairman of the Subcommittee on Veterans Health, which is very important to him and very important here to Columbia County and surrounding counties as well. Before I get started, though, I wish Robert Bridges hadn't left. I have to tell you, one of our most important and one of our hardest issues is making sure that people understand. You know, a lot of times people, when you live in Panama City or Tallahassee, they say, well, how can you represent somebody in Columbia County? And that's important. But I have to tell you that we are very proud of our relationship and thank the Lake City Reporter for the relationship that we have with them and getting the news out to you. They have been very cooperative and very responsive when we've tried to get news to you all. And as a result of that, often they're helping us advertise our mobile office hours. We do our mobile office hours once a month in in most of the counties. Some of the counties we do quarterly just because of the size and the lack of response that we get from the smaller counties, Lafayette, Dixie, and some of the smaller ones. But we are here in Columbia County once a month with mobile office hours, and we do appreciate the reporter helping us get those issues out. The most exciting thing probably is yesterday the congressman actually was with the president. He was in a bill signing ceremony on the Mission Act. The Mission Act deals primarily with veterans and veterans' health. And as a part of that Mission Act, the congressman actually had two pieces of legislation that are currently held up in the Senate, but was able to be included in this, so it doesn't matter if it's held up now because it passed anyway. That's the Victor Act. The Victor Act basically streamlines the process for those veterans who are waiting on organ transplants. It makes that process a whole lot easier so that they're not having to go hundreds of miles away to get their transplant organs that they're so much in need of. The other issue that is important to the congressman that he's worked on and that is real prevalent among veterans, and that is the opioid abuse. The Opioid Act actually allows the VA to participate now in the nationwide prescription network so that we know and they can track anytime that there's an abuse, possible abuse going on, so that they know what medicines veterans are getting in other places and so forth. As a part of that Mission Act, not part of the Congressman's bill, but as part of the standalone bill, It does actually update and make some changes in the choice program, which actually removes the 30-day program, excuse me, a 30-day wait or the 40-mile radius. It does away with that so that veterans can go to their most nearest facility that they need. As you know, back in the spring, the Congressman was very supportive of the tax cuts that happened, and most of you, if not all of you, should have felt some result of that. And hopefully that's just the first bite at the apple there. So we're very excited about that. And I think we've already seen the response as part of it as a nation and response to jobs and so forth coming around. Just briefly, I want to touch on, Senator Hill mentioned it as well. Our office is very proud to offer our constituent services. We're very proud of where we stand on that as far as our responses and the kind of response that we get back from our constituents. But one of the fun things that we get to do is a lot of times if you're going to DC, we had Noah just recently was in DC and was able to take advantage of some tours and stuff. Our office is always willing to coordinate those tours, set those tours up, and if you're lucky, the Congressman's wife has even gone and been trained on how to give tours, and she actually gives personal tours, and she's one of just a few spouses of members of the Congress that actually gives personal tours to White House, Smithsonian, Capitol, just to mention a few. So please contact us on that and let us take advantage of showing you around Washington when you're out there. Excuse me. One of the other things we talked about just briefly this morning is the recess. Currently, Congress, the House is going to be on recess. The fact is that we've got over 400 bills sitting in the Senate that's not been acted on, so I think the Senate has a lot to do, so we can be back home and visiting with our constituents. As a part of that recess, the Congressman plans to have roundtables. We've already had 2 roundtables of opioid abuse over in the Panhandle and the western side of the district. We plan to have an opioid roundtable coming soon to Leon County, Columbia County, and also Marion County. As an ongoing effort, we're also going to plan some roundtables in the areas of agriculture, small business, and also in healthcare. And several of those are going to be in the Columbia County area as well. So, as always, it's a pleasure to be able to serve the people of Columbia County, and the Congressman takes that very seriously. He's over here as much as he can be, and enjoys being over in this area, and we look forward to continuing to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. And now from the City of Lake City, Councilperson Melinda Moses. Now, we have to get on to her because she's not supposed to be carrying anything in that hand.
No, Steve Nelson, I wasn't, I swear. I'll be brief. I know when you saw me walking up, you're like, oh, God, I've heard her talk. It's been an exciting and a challenging year at the City of Lake City. I don't need to tell you that. And I've learned one real important rule in the past couple of years, that utilities run the train. So the things that we've done with utilities that are exciting, I think, are we opened our Kicklighter water reclamation at $18 million on time, which was very different from my kitchen reno. So we're really proud of that. And the wastewater, we've run it out 47. We got a grant, an environmental grant, to run that out 47 to 75 and 47 at that interchange. And we're really excited about that because once it gets there, then it's the city and the county together can use economic development to make that happen. So it's another opportunity for us to work with the county. We're going to talk about that in a second too. The airport, another gem, we renovated Taxiway B for $5.3 million, added LED lights. And what we look for in the future there is we're going to reconstruct the 8,000-foot runway, the main runway. Now that's going to be about an $8 million, $8 million estimate with 90% done by FAA. Now what they tell me is that 2,000 more feet and we can do commercial. So I could actually go buy a ticket to fly somewhere. So we're going to hopefully look at that soon. Wilson Park, we're really excited about Wilson Park across from DeSoto, Lake DeSoto. And Greg Bailey is our architect, and we finally decided on a band shell, which is going to go up to the lake and afford us to have concerts. There'll be seating there for 350 to 500, depending on the size of the people. And so we're very excited about that. Rotary, actually that's what they said. Rotary has a park for us that they donated for children, and they're adding and adding to it. But we'd like to ask anybody in the community that would like to donate or sponsor a part of that Wilson Park. We would love to have it, because we're looking at things going around the lake, all kind of energizing things for the city. Then we get to downtown. If you have not driven downtown, you need to do it, because you can hear hammers slashing around the Blanche. I couldn't find a storefront that was empty. It's just so exciting when you see people that are young that at nighttime are walking around downtown, and they say, it doesn't even feel like we're in Lake City anymore. So we're very excited about that. And that took about 10 years off my life, I have to say. We're very excited about Danielle, because that's going to be such a bring it home kind of thing for the Blanche, and make it a local project, and I know she'll do a classy job of that. We have several businesses in the works down there. I can't say anything, but that are going to really bring some other aspects to downtown. We also are getting 5 hotels. It's not just downtown that's booming. We're going to have 5 hotels soon, and we've had 753 construction permits. That sounded really good to me. We also, one little thing, with our customer service, if any of you have ever had a leak, and you got that little call from Brenda at City Hall telling you you're using a little more water, well, then you have time to fix it before it's bad. Well, you can thank me for that, because 2 years ago I had a $2,000 leak. So they have this software now that can call you and let you know, and I did pay it. I wanted you to know. A little each month, but I did pay it. Last night we interviewed 5 very worthy candidates for city manager and narrowed it down to 2. Danielle Judd and Joseph Helfenberger. It took me a while to be able to say his name. And so we're real excited about what's up front for the city. And what we're looking for is, it's funny when you talk to Public Works and you talk to utilities, the people you talk to that are on the front say, we work together all the time. I'll call up the county and ask them something, and the city will, help the county in a cleanup effort or whatever. And so we want that to rise to the top, that working together. And we're hoping that with its new manager coming in and things just settling down, that we're going to be able to have that utility committee together again and have a working relationship with the county, which would benefit all of us. So this is going to be a great year for the city, and we're really looking forward to working with everybody. Thank you.
I have to announce that the county was going to have a representative here, but due to a last-minute conflict, they were unable to attend, so we're sorry about that. But at this juncture, that's the end of our speakers. So were there any questions for any of the folks who got up and spoke to you today, other than Senator Bradley, who's gone? Yes, ma'am.
Did anybody else have any questions? I know that everybody's anxious to get back and get some things going this morning. I did want to let everyone know it's an election year, if that somehow slipped by anybody's radar. And we will once again be doing the candidate forums in conjunction with Florida Gateway College and the Lake City Reporter. Those dates are August 6th, 7th, and 9th. And those will be televised and streamed live as well on the FGC YouTube channel and Comcast Channel 8. This year, amendments are also on the ballot. So we understand that they're complex a lot of times, and we don't really know exactly what it is that we're voting on. So we're going to also have an amendment forum where we explain and kind of tell you both sides of each position on the changing of the amendments. So without further ado, we appreciate you guys being here as always, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.